Right guys, I'm going to show you how to change the screens on a compact M drum filter. It fits a lot of the other Oase filters as well. And all you're going to need for it is a Phillips screwdriver, small Phillips, flat bladed screwdriver, a nice sharp pair of scissors and a ruler. And it's really simple. Here's one I've just completed. I've put in a stainless steel 100 micron mesh. That cost me about £9 for a roll which is a metre long by a foot wide, which is ample to do 6 of these screens. So for basically a tenner and a bit of graft, I've got a complete new set of 100 micron screens. So this is how you do it. So the old screen on here has been leaking, so I tried to glue it with a bit of glue gun, but that hasn't worked at all. Temporary fix only. What you need to do is remove every one of these stainless steel screws, and also the screw that hangs, keeps the toggle attached. That's the bit that tightens up and fits it into your drum. So I've got one here that I've took all the screws out apart from this one, and it's just a really simple case of lefty lefty, lefty unloosens, righty tighties, screw out, flip it across, the screw for the toggle out, put them screws nice and safe. There's a little washer and the toggle, and then all you need to do is get your flat-ended screwdriver, prise it underneath and just gently lever it apart. Gently, don't go too rampaged or you'll break it. Gently lever it apart and it basically pulls apart. So that's it, the screen's now apart. So you put that top bit and the bottom bit to one side. This now becomes your template, and then it's a case of your new screen, and this is the new screen. It comes in a roll. It's a metre, over a metre long. Don't cut it before you get one of them out. Use the one that you're taking out as a template. Don't worry about the holes because the screws just pop straight through it. It's just a case of using that so you get the right width. The first one I did, I cut far too short and it wasn't wide enough. So don't do any cutting until you've got one out. And then it's just a case of, with a nice pencil, I've got a nice thick pencil there, you lay it out. I've laid it onto a bit of cloth because that gives it a bit of purchase. I then put my template on the top. Make sure that you're not, you've got a good measure, and then just score the sides with a pencil so that you can mark it, and the top, keeping it nice and flat. Put that template to one side. I'm going to keep that for later, and then just getting the ruler and joining them lines up. Just like that, very simple job. And what I did with the first one was I actually kept the line on, so I didn't cut the line off. I kept cutting this side of the line, so I ended up with the line. And actually it doesn't matter if you're a tiny little bit too big, but it does if you're a little bit too small. And it's as simple as that. Try and keep that line as straight as you can, leaving the line on. I actually bought some 80 and 60 micron material as well, and that was only sort of a tenner. So I can change the screens to whatever I want now. So that's the cut piece of screen. You get that's the one that presses inside it. So you want the bigger of the two, and then just basically push that inside. Push that nice and tight inside. You see, it doesn't matter if there's a little bit extra up the sides. Make sure it's nice and snug. Nice and snug in there. And then it's just a matter of fitting that inside. Fit that inside. That's what it looks like without the screws in. And what I've done is I've turned it upside down, so when I'm screwing I'm not moving it, and I put a screw in each end. Very simple. Screw's gone through it like a knife through butter. One in that end. One in this end. Turn it round and do the other two ends. That just keeps the screen in place so that you're not moving it as you go along. It's the really simplest process. Definitely worth a go to save you that much money. Don't over tighten. As I said, just screw them in righty tighty and they'll find their little housing that they screw into. I'm going to do the rest of them, but I'll show you how I did this one. So this is where the flange fits. Now you need to make a hole in there. All I did was use the Phillips screwdriver, got the centre and just twisted a little bit of pressure, and Bob's your uncle, it's through. You see how it's gone through there? Wiggle it about, pull it out. That now leaves a nice hole, and I can get that pushed in there, turned round, washer, then a screw, tighten the screw. Don't over tighten this one because it has to be able to move. And there you've got your locking toggle. I'll continue to put these screws in all the way through. So you just make sure that you get wherever there's a hole, there's a screw goes in, and then that's your finished product. It's took me less than 10 minutes to do one, so I reckon in an hour I should have them all done and replaced. So I hope that's useful. You can buy this fabric on Amazon. You can even buy it from one of the Chinese websites, but for the sake of a tenner I'm going to get all my screens done at 100 microns, which I'll use during the winter. I've got a new set of 60 microns in there. They're going to blog up really quickly, but I've now got two sets, so it means I can constantly change the screens whenever I want for the sake of a tenner. So it's worth 150 quid that I paid from a really good little aquatic company, Aqua Cadabra. They were the cheapest I could find for the Oase screens. So I've got a new set. This old set I'll be going in very shortly with the 100 microns, just that little bit extra for the winter debris, and then the 60 ones will go in the summer. So I hope that was useful, and yeah, have a go.